The first speaker of the day is Alevtina Popova with a talk entitled Meme-ingful Education. That's a pun. How to teach languages with memes. So, an entrepreneur, a third-generation language teacher, author, and TEDx speaker, Alevtina has co-run a language school since 2001. In 2022, she came up with the idea of Meme-ingful education and has already written 2 books about it. Alevtina stands for making education more accessible for students, and she's also a mother to 2 bilinguals. Can we have a round of applause, please?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm happy to welcome everybody here, because I've come all the way from Russia to give this talk. And I'd like to give you a little story first. You know, I love quizzes, and I'm awfully competitive. If there is a question like, do you know that? I'll say, yeah, ask me. But about 25 years ago, when I first went abroad and worked in an American camp, there were some team building activities there for the whole team, for all the counselors. And I'd like you to see the look on my face when they were asking questions. I wonder if you can see a similar look on your students' faces when you explain certain things to them. And that makes me awfully sad when I see that look on people's faces, because it means they have no clue. How come I had no clue about the language that I'd been studying for a while, about the culture that I'd been learning about for a long time? And that is directly related to what we're going to talk about today. Because what you see is a media meme, but that's not all there is to memes. There is much more to them, and we are about to find out. Say hello to Jennifer Aniston from 2025. I wonder if you looked similar to that when you were all locked up. But what we think of when people say meme, what we send to our friends and colleagues and students sometimes, is pictures like this, caption pictures that makes us laugh, or at least chuckle, or sometimes make us think and wonder if it is a demotivator, for example. So whenever people says a meme, everybody thinks of a media meme. But until very recently, they were not a big trend. I wonder if you can answer this question. I wonder if you are also so competitive as me and like trivia questions. In the battle for power between Trump and Clinton a while ago, who do you think would survive if they were both on the little boat in the middle of the ocean? The right answer is America. And well, they say that if Trump had won the war of memes, he wouldn't have become the president. And it's this time that the general public became aware how powerful memes are, because they are so memorable, they are catchy, they are easy to reproduce, and they make you want to be creative, because sometimes you need to make a little change so that they relate to you, right? But memes is much more than that. They have been around as long as the humanity has been around. And whatever you have ever learned and put into your culture code, into your culture genetics, is a meme. Whether that be the idea of shaking hands when you come into the room, the idea that you need to get up when the teacher comes into the room, all the songs that you've learned and all the skills that you possess. So it's all sorts of things that we don't even think of, but do as we were told, as we were taught, as we learned from other people, through associations that already existed in our culture code. And the first time the term meme was used was in the 70s by Richard Dawkins, a biologist, who thought that there was a direct correlation between how genes travel from person to the next generation, to how ideas travel from person to the next generation. So if you look at the example of that meme, you would probably understand what it means, right? If we had a symbol like this in the doorway, you probably wouldn't dare come into the room. These are also memes. Are there any lovers or friends here? There are some, right? There are some. And I wonder if, like me, at the moment when you saw this the little meme, you started singing something like, I'll be there for you. I hope my singing is alright. My children hate it because I normally change the song for them, but still. So the idea of this font together with this sofa comes as the idea of the whole series, right? Then we can see some emoticons that will also be memes. Most of them will spread throughout the humanity because they will be identical in most cultures. We have to be careful with those, but I don't think that anybody can mistake a smiling face for anything else, right? So everybody would recognize that. And I wonder if you know the random figures that you can see at the bottom of the slide. Does anybody know what those stand for? Well, this is not misprint. I wasn't mistaken, right? This stands for something. Sorry? Alcohol? Yes, ethanol or vodka, right? Well, being from Russia, I know that everybody thinks of Russians as vodka lovers. In case you would like to take me out for a drink, that's not vodka. I would like a cocktail or sweet wine. But do you want to remember this? Well, whenever the spirits are low, just say hello to C2H5OH. Let's go. Is it easier to remember now? Much easier, right? That's for two reasons. For once, it rhymes, it's easier to remember, and we think of rhyme things as more credible. So, whenever you would like your students to remember a formula, if that's the case, it's a good idea to teach them through rhymes, and that will be a meme for them. But it will not become a proper meme until you make sure that all the elements are put together. We're coming to that. But first, I'd like to give you a quote from Richard Feynman, one of my favorite scientists. I wonder if anybody knows him. Does anybody know who Richard Feynman was? Yeah. Well, he's also an author, that's why I feel even more related to him. He thought of learning as the process where people are supposed to have fun. They have to enjoy what they're doing. And even if you know that you can make people learn, it's so much easier when you guide them and encourage them into learning through the ideas that they love doing and when they understand. Because if you understand the principle, it's okay if you don't know the rule. None of us probably know the rules of our native language as well as we know the rules of the foreign language that we have learned. I mean, how many of you are bilingual here? Raise your hand if you're bilingual. Trilingual, maybe? Slightly. Well, yeah, a few words of German, although my diploma says I can teach it, but my older son is even better. So, what I'm saying is that understanding the principle is much more important than making them memorize the rule. We know the books are full of memes that say, here is the rule, you need to learn it and everything will be alright. Well, it won't, not always, because there are at least 3 components in every meme. When we talk of different phenomena, there will definitely be the name, and it will not always be the name that you have come up with or that the book has come up with. So whenever you say present perfect, and students learn and repeat present perfect, it may not be the name that they say in their head. They might say something totally different, and that will be okay. If you have been married for a while, you probably have been in a situation where your spouse will say, listen Lucy, where is that thingy? It's under that other thingy. And both of you understand what things you are talking about. Same thing happens when you don't know a name for something, you will come up with a name. If you don't have a name, it doesn't exist. It doesn't go into your culture code. Then there will be the formula. Even in grammar, there are formulas. It's like half plus a third form, and here we are. Voila, the present perfect is there. But then there is the concept, and this is what students usually find evasive when, in their mother tongue, they compare to their native counterparts, words, not concepts, not ideas. And this revelation doesn't come to them until they are quite advanced in their level, like around B2 probably and above. Until then, a lot of them will try to find something in their language, and they say, we don't have it in Russian and Spanish and German and Chinese and so on. But they do, because most of the concepts are universal for the people, right? They will be able to imagine them. If you can imagine them, you can find an association. Well, in fact, fact, that's what my books are about. I've tried to create for Russian learners an association in the mother tongue that will help them understand the concept, so that then it's easier to use the formula. Why are memes so powerful? Why do we need them to create them and use them, and the ones that are already there put into our learning routines? It's because they are so easy to change, that you will be able to manipulate your students into learning without them even understanding that they're being manipulated. I wonder if you can read what it says there, and you can easily use this quite cruel humor, but still it will be perfectly clear to your students. If Bob doesn't have any arms, if he goes knock knock on the door, it can't be Bob, can it? Right? So you help them learn conclusions with that. I wonder if you can guess what this meme might help your students learn and remind them of the structure that you are talking about. Because when you have a visual, when you have a picture that they can relate to, they will be able to visualize their whole idea and create their own caption. So, which grammar phenomenon do you think we can explain with the help of Donald? Right? Which?
Second conditional.
Second conditional. Okay, any other ideas? Second conditional. Any more? Imperative. Any others? Sorry? I want you. Right. Oh, all of you are right. All of you are right. That's what I was talking about. You can adapt them to your needs. It will be the caption that will create the meme. The idea that you will be able to put it in, that will be called framing. You will create the frame where the students will associate Donald Trump and this image of him into the structure, right? Well, of course, everybody have seen him giving the example of how to properly say sound, right? Yes. And if you put him where we normally have Putin's picture above the classroom board, right? Or if you put him with this sound, everybody in your classroom will remember how to say sound, right? Because that will be their memes, their meme for the sound that is considered to be wrong in Russian. So my idea in the book will be, it's you, somebody was there, it's you who did it, right? It's you who's to blame, and so on, cleft sentences. But like I said, it's up to you. Whatever you put there, if your students relate to the image and understand the concept that you're trying to explain, they will be there for you. Here's another one, and this is something that may not be easy to accept for absolutely everyone, but because I'm not 100% sure that you have the same idiom for this saying about rakes, like stepping on the same rake. Do you ever say that? Like making the same mistake. But in Russian, it's very well spread. So for my students, that will be fine. And if you have an international group to teach, you have to be aware of the things that are similar, the things that make them laugh, the things that translate easily and things they don't. So here I will probably be at an advantage teaching Russian students, even though we say that it's a good idea to have a native speaker, because a lot of the things will have come from my system as well as theirs, and it will be easier for me to find equivalents. But do not despair, you will be able to find ones that will resonate with them, because some have been represented to them as they are and will be remembered as they are. Even if they haven't seen Terminator, they will know what "I'll be back" stands for, right? So you will be able to remember them or remind them of all the promises they can make with that. And like I said, memes are so they're so flexible. They are so catchy. They are so helpful. We shouldn't let just con men and SMM specialists use them to attract attention for marketing. We should use them in the classroom, because that will make learning not only fun, but much more accessible. If you like the talk and would like to learn more about Meme-ingful education, you can subscribe to me in Instagram or write to me in any of the messengers. Thank you very much. And to finish, I brought one of my books to give to this community, and I'd like to welcome a reader to take it. I will definitely sign it for the whole community.
Thank you.